with casting off. That means that you're taking off the project from the loom. And I'm working on a mitten, and it's a Fair Isle, and I am getting ready to take the yarn off of the loom. And the way that you do that is you're going to take your yarn and you're going to wrap it around your loom about 1.5 times, and then you're going to cut it. And that's how you're going to know how much length to use for casting off or binding off. It's called binding off with looming, and with knitting needles it would be called casting off. And that's how you know how much yarn you're going to need to get all the material off of these pegs. And you're going to start with, you're going to slip your needle from the bottom, like this direction, to up to the top, through the stitch of your first peg. And usually first peg, well for me I like to start my first peg where the anchor peg is. Let me see how I pull that up like that. And then you're going to take this off, and then you're going to work to the left peg. And then you're going to take off the loops. On those two pegs, starting with the second peg, then the first. Then you continue repeating, alternating the right peg and the left peg. And that's how you start with doing your cast off, your binding off method. So with the cast off, we put the needle through here and we pulled up. Now we're going to go to the peg to the left. And now we're going to take off this. You can use your hook for that. And now you have casted off 2 stitches, the first 2. And with casting off, now that I have taken off these 2, you're going to be working from right to left. So now we're going to go to the right here, and we're going to take this one off, and then we're going to go take this one off to the left. And then we're going to take this one off, and then that one off. And we're going to repeat this sequence through the whole round. So we're going to start, we've taken off the first 2, and that's how easy it is to bind off, just by taking your stitches off of the loom. Very easy. So we went to the right, and now we're going to go to the left, which would be right here. So we were right here, and then we're going to go to here. And we're going to go up like that with our needle. We're using a yarn needle for this. And then we just simply take our loops off the peg. Pull it a little bit if you want to. This is going to create an elastic type of work, so then when you have this completely done, when you're working on your project, you will be able to pull it to tighten your project. To close, and that's called closing your project. And what is going to be the elastic is actually this piece of yarn that you're working with. And as you can see, as I'm pulling on it, it's getting tighter and tighter. And you can do this method with a hat, mittens, anything that you're doing in the round that you want tightened up. So I did this one, and then I'm going to go over to here to do it. So whatever project that you're working on, hat or mittens or anything else, you will use this bind off method if you want to tighten it at the end, like how we have. I'll show you my mitten here, and you can see that it is tight on the top, and so you would use this bind off method to tighten it. Also, with my hat here that I made, you can see that it's smaller here. And with it being smaller here, and it actually gives you a little bit of a flower look on the hat here. And that look is done from the binding off method of tightening it and closing it. And then after you do that, you would take the rest of your material and you would sew the top, and then you would put your needle through the top and pull it out from the hat and put the hat inside out, and then you would sew the bottom part of it that's inside out, and then you would weave in your ends. And you would do that also with the mittens. You would tighten it up, and then you would sew it up. Then you would put your needle through the top, and then put this inside out, and you would sew the inside of the top, and you have to knot it when it's inside out, and then you weave in the ends and cut the rest of the material. That is how simple it is to bind off your material. Thank you for watching, and Merry Christmas.